Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at something called motion graphics. And what is motion graphics? It's when you take text and you add motion to it and it becomes motion graphics. I guess it's the silliest way to put it. So to give you a better idea, I'm going to play a video here that demonstrates what that is.
Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she's waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And I know I gave it to you months ago.
Okay, so this is just an example that I found on the internet using motion graphics. And first thing off the bat is that the best program to use to do this type of work is Adobe After Effects. Unfortunately, we're not going to be using After Effects for this particular assignment. We're going to focus on using Adobe Premiere Pro. We won't be able to do all these nifty tricks and effects. You can emulate some of them if you're crafty enough, but some types of effects are going to be a lot harder to do. So with that said, we're just going to take a look at Adobe Premiere Pro. So I'm going to show you an example that I was working on, and I'm going to play it back to you so you can see. This is using Adobe Premiere Pro.
I'm friends with the monster that's under my bed. Get along.
And I only use the first part of the song as an example because I want you to try it out yourself. And for this tutorial, I want you to use the same song for the first verse or two to get some practice. Afterwards, for the assignment, you can actually pick a song of your choice and make your own motion graphic lyrical video for it. So this is just a tutorial to get you started. Everybody has different musical taste, so it's great to see that. So I'm going to give you that option. But with this tutorial, I want you to start with this particular song, and the song will be in one of the folders under the Premiere Pro tutorial folders in our video storage file. So I'm going to jump to Premiere Pro over here. Now my version of Premiere Pro is slightly different than yours, so just keep that in mind. I've made it look very similar to the version that you guys work with. So first thing I'm going to do is, when you open up Premiere Pro, you usually start with this window here, and you always want to make sure that you select a proper location. I want you to save your work on the desktop of the computer. So this is actually not the desktop of my computer. I just made a folder called desktop. Find your class period. Okay. Find your name. Make a folder called lyrics project. So you can click on new folder, call it lyrics project. I already have the file here. Okay. And then select that folder. Give it a name. Usually you can put your whole name. I suggest you put your whole name. I'm going to call mine Eusebio Lyrics Project, and then press OK. Once you're right here, there's a couple of options. This is actually your preset, and I never talk about this, but this tells you the resolution that your video is going to be in. Is it going to be 1080p, 720p, standard definition? What is it? A good starting point is under HDV, which stands for high definition video. If you select that, you have a bunch of options. The frame rate is based on how many frames or pictures there are per second. 1080p 24 is very cinema-like. 1080p 30 is more for like TV motion based. But 1080p is the highest resolution you can go. My suggestion is, if your computer starts to freeze up and you're using 1080p 24, try 720p 24. Okay, so for most of you, I think most people will be fine using 720p. But you can also, if your computer is slightly newer, use 1080p. For this example, I'm going to use 720p 24. And the sequence, I can just leave it as that name for now. Or actually, I can give it a name. I can call it Motion Graphic 1. Then press OK. Now I have my program open. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to locate the song, and the song should be in a folder. And the best way, you can import files by right-clicking on this section under projects and importing. Now if your window doesn't look like this, your program, you can go to Window, Workspace, and you can reset the workspace, reset, and it should reset to something like this. Your tools, some of your tools might be in a different location, like this section here, it could be up here in the top left. Mine just happens to be down here. So just keep that in mind. There's some slight differences. What you can normally do is once you find the folder with the file, you just drag the file to the project window here, okay, and the music will be added there. Okay, so that's kind of the easiest way to do that. So now, if I double click on it, it'll show up on my source monitor and I can play it back. Again, this is the source window.
I'm friends with the monster.
And then you're back to again with your little window here, your timeline, and this is your program where all your video files are working at right now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the music file down to, I'm going to put on audio 2. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put audio 1. On your version of Adobe Premiere Pro, you have these little tiny mountains that you can slide left and right to zoom in. On my version here, I just slide this, but just keep that in mind. Yours is different. This little tiny arrow, you're going to click on that, and then you're going to drag. If you go halfway between audio 1 and 2, your cursor will change to double arrows, and you can slide this down. And you want to slide this down to give you a visual perspective, and then use the mountains on your version, or if you have a newer version of Adobe Premiere Pro, just slide this sideways until you can actually see the wave file much better. Okay. Alright, and don't forget, if you forgot already, you can go to File, press Save to save your work. And I'm going to end the video right there. This is just the first part of getting you started, but that's the basic part of it. Part 2 will actually go into putting together the text on the video.